Hi, and welcome to the Holidays to Europe travel show. This is episode 5. My name's Carolyn, and today I'm speaking with Jill Lance, the Business Development Manager for Victoria and Tasmania for APT. APT are one of the most popular and well-known European river cruise companies on the Australian market. And today, Jill is going to tell us a little bit about the company, their history, and some of the fantastic things you can expect to experience on an APT or Travelmarvel river cruise. Hi Jill, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're most welcome. Now, APT is a company that's pretty well known in Australia, and something that I think is pretty important is that it's a 100% Australian-owned company. Can you tell me a little bit about the history of the company and where it's come from?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're exactly right there. We are 100% family-owned. We're actually based here in Melbourne. So we began in 1927 during a tram strike in Melbourne, believe it or not, and it was a gentleman by the name of Bill McGeary who began the business. He was quite an entrepreneur, so he had a truck that he converted into a bus. So he was commuting people to and from work, and then one bus grew to 2, which grew to 3. And as the years progressed, Bill really began to do a lot more charter work and school groups and day touring. And his son, Jeff, took over the business at the ripe old age of 19 years of age, which he's really brought the company to where we are today and very much revolutionised coach touring. He introduced a lot of luxury air-conditioned coaches. And as the Australian tourism industry really began to thrive, we broke into the New Zealand market, then into the international market. And fast forward the track over 87 years later, we are one of the most successful travel companies within the Australian market. And I really think that due to Bill McGeary and Jeff McGeary and what they believe in is that we really do deliver on what we promise and we listen to our customers. And now I guess we really do specialise in luxury touring and cruising in all corners of the globe. So we've definitely come a very long way.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And what a great story, starting out from taking advantage of a train strike to building such a big and popular company as it is today. So how did APT get started in European river cruising? Because that's probably one of the things that they're most well known for now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I guess stepping back, when river cruising first began with us, it was traditionally sold in the US market. So that was that case for many, many years. So in early 2000, we were basically a wholesaler. We were selling onto other ships. And as the demand grew for the river cruising market, we really began to get this appreciation for what the Australian and New Zealand market wanted. So we gained the confidence. And then we custom built our own ships to suit the needs and style of travel for our own unique market over here. So from here, we really customise the inclusions on board the river cruising and the vessels as well. So yeah, we've got an amazing fleet over there in Europe. And as I said, it's funny looking back now because in the first year of river cruising, when we were selling onto other ships, I think we sold about 12 passengers in our first year, and I think we're going to be ticking over about 15,000 passengers now, which I think is even going to increase beyond that with the success of another brand of ours called Travelmarvel.
Yeah, excellent. Now, I was going to actually ask you about Travelmarvel because they come under the APT umbrella. Can you just tell me a little bit about what the differences are between cruising with APT and with Travelmarvel?
Yeah, absolutely. So Travelmarvel is part of APT. So I guess if you're looking at APT, we really specialise in luxury, fully inclusive travel. With Travelmarvel, the brand is still owned by APT and it's our premium alternative. So I guess when you're looking at the two, we are using exactly the same cruise directors and local guides on board both programs. So it's not compromising on the service by any means. We're using the same entertainment. It still includes your tipping, your touring, your transfers and all of your meals. And very similar itineraries also. But I guess APT is a fully inclusive nature. Travelmarvel still is as well, but we do allow approximately about 25% free time for our customers to really personalise what they would like to do on board. So with APT, we give our clients the freedom to choose their touring, which is all included, as well as what we call our signature experiences, which is inclusions really treating our customers like royalty. When we look at the Travelmarvel alternative, we include what we call insider experiences. And the best way to describe insider experiences is they're very unique special stays, memorable and highlight dinners, and our touring inclusions really giving a great local experience to our clients. So there's really two different ways of travelling, but both are luxury and premium.
Yeah, sound wonderful. Now, for many passengers, the first European river cruise that they undertake is the Amsterdam to Budapest or in reverse. But looking through your brochure, I can see that there's just so many different itineraries. What are some of the other most popular ones?
Oh, it's funny because you're completely right. Where the most popular river cruise is cruising from Amsterdam to Budapest, which goes in reverse as well. But we almost need to find new rivers because people will do one river cruise and they fall in love with the concept, and it's like, where else can we cruise through to? So we've got quite a number of other options now which are increasingly growing in popularity. So you can cruise on the Rhine and the Moselle and the Rhone River, so cruising all the way down to the south of France. The Rhine and the Rhone actually don't naturally meet. So between there, we have a 6-hour journey through the Swiss Alps, which is probably one of the most impressive coach journeys that I've done. And extending on from that option, we have the Douro River in Portugal, and we've custom built a ship taking 108 passengers on the Douro. We've got the Seine River in the northwest region of France, so it's a 7-night return cruise in and out of Paris. And we've got the Volga River in Russia as well. So there's plenty of rivers to choose from.
Yeah, absolutely. And which itinerary is your personal favourite?
Oh, God, that's a really hard one.
They're all great, I'm sure.
Oh, if I have to choose, look, Amsterdam Budapest is amazing, but I must say that probably two of the most picturesque rivers in the whole of Europe would be the Moselle River and also the Douro River in Portugal. But really, regardless of which river you are choosing, you are just absolutely guaranteed an absolute trip of a lifetime. And I think it's great. So many options, unpacking once in a luxury 5-star floating hotel. So it really is a trip of a lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one thing that I think appeals to a lot of people, is that the benefits of just having to unpack once. And
very nice. Yeah. Sometimes you feel like you need a holiday after you're packing and repacking.
Exactly, yeah, that's so right. So as well as that obvious benefit, what are some of the other benefits that passengers enjoy whilst on one of your cruises? Now, you touched on before the full inclusions, etc. So what are some of the sightseeing excursions and things that they can take part in?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess we can appreciate that in the Australian and New Zealand market, tipping is one thing which is not in our culture. So we take that stress all away from that, and we include tipping for absolutely everybody, which is wonderful.
That must be such a relief, because I know from my own experience, it's a real concern. How much should I tip, and is this enough?
Oh, no.
You know, will they think I'm terrible?
So that's really lovely. So I always say to our clients, if anybody's putting their hand out for a tip, you just give them a high five and say thanks for the great service. It really does take the stress away. And I think the other benefits of river cruising is, yes, you're docking right into the heart and centre of all of the European villages. So Europe is really at your doorstep, and it really does become your 5-star luxury floating hotel. But beyond that, we can also appreciate that all of our clients have different ideas and expectations of what they want to get out of their holiday. So what we will do along the way is give them the freedom to choose what tours they would like to do. And these are all included in the price, so you don't have any optional extras at all. And we try and vary these options to be cultural, historical, culinary, active, maybe slower paced as well. So we're really catering for a broad interest group, and they're all included in the price. And our clients just choose what they would like to do, generally the night before, and it's all included in the price.
Fantastic. So once you get on board, you're not putting your hand in your pocket for anything?
Not at all. Like, in fact, to a point, I didn't spend 1 cent when I was on board my river cruise, but I had to tell my family and friends nobody's getting a present at all. I come from quite a big family, so I think in previous trips I've always been focusing so much on buying presents for everybody. I was like, no one's getting any presents, and everything is included. Your bottled water, your beverages, your beer, your wine, your spirits, all of your meals, and the meals don't stop. And your touring, tipping, transfers, everything is included. So it's just a really wonderful way to travel.
Yeah, sounds wonderful. Now, I notice there's also a few departures over the Christmas and New Year period, and this must be a fantastic way to experience Europe in winter without, you know, the problems of negotiating snowy roads and all that sort of thing. So what
actually, sorry, I cut you off. I was about to launch into my experience, because I was fortunate enough to actually cruise during the winter period. That was a couple of years ago on a river cruise. I did Nuremberg up to Amsterdam, and I was there for the Christmas markets, which has always been on my bucket list. And anybody that has any interest in the Christmas markets, I can talk with such high recommendation. And the official opening is the 3rd week of November. However, we do cruise over the Christmas period as well. And you start to, I guess, appreciate how well they do Christmas over there. It's so festive, and it's got like a spiritual kind of feeling as well. But I think a story that always lives in my memory is being in Nuremberg, and I fell in love with that little town in Germany. And it was about 4:30 in the afternoon, and I was drinking my Glühwein, which is the warm mulled wine. And out of nowhere, about 60 little kids up to my hip height walked out into the town square of Nuremberg dressed in Santa costumes with Santa hats, and they started to sing Christmas carols in German for about 50 minutes. And I had one of those travel memories where I was drinking my Glühwein, there was Christmas trees everywhere, fairy lights, and these gorgeous children singing Christmas carols. And that just kind of is the best way to describe how festive it is over there. And you get really caught up in how well they do Christmas over there. And it's a great way to get away if you are wanting to cruise over the Christmas and New Year period and let APT take care of all the festivities for you.
Fantastic. Now, what are the differences in the suites on board? I mean, obviously they're all of a very high standard because you offer a luxury product. But what are the differences between, say, a standard suite and a balcony or owner's suite?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess with one thing with river cruising is every single ship in Europe is only 11.4 metres wide. And that's because the locks that we cruise through are 11.5 metres wide. So all of us have to build our ships to these, 11.4 metres wide. So the best way, I guess, is we have revolutionised a couple of options called our twin balconies and our panoramic balconies. But if I start with the entry-level cabin, which are called our twin window suite, these are our entry-level cabins that are 170 square feet in dimension, which are some of the largest on the European waterways. And the windows come up to about the client's eye level, and the water levels will probably be around their waist height. Our next cabin category up is known as our panoramic balcony or our French balcony, and I adore these room categories because we effectively build the balcony into the room. So if the weather's lovely, the doors can slide all the way back, letting in the fresh air and sunshine. But if it's not so nice or it's too cold or rainy or windy or even too hot, the doors can still close over and you've still got that internal sitting area. Best way to maximise your room type. And then with APT, which is exclusive to us, we've then got the next room type called our twin balcony, which really does give you the best of both worlds because you've got an external step-out balcony, plus you've still got your internal balcony as well. And then, of course, you can extend and do the owner suites, which epitomise luxury for me as well. So You've got many different options to suit all different budgets and all different travelling styles.
Sure. And what's the typical age group of passengers on board? And are the passengers mostly from Australia and New Zealand, or are other nationalities represented as well?
Well, we mainly cater for the 50-plus market. So we take a lot of self-funded retirees, those, that are relying on their super, but generally we do cater for the 50-plus market. And we have two different styles of cruises. And look, to be honest, about 90% of our itineraries are what we call our APT Royal Collection. And we only sell with those ones into the Australian and New Zealand market. And I guess it really creates a lovely synergy on board because we are all very like-minded travellers. But we do have a handful of itineraries as well known as our APT Voyage. And that's where we sell to all corners of the globe. So you've got two different styles of travel. The Royal Collection where we just sell to the Australian and New Zealand market, and a handful of itineraries where we sell to all corners of the globe known as our APT Voyage.
Okay. And those different categories, I guess, are they specified in the brochure, are they?
Absolutely, yes. So we do have in the front of the brochure, it will go through the two different symbols. And when you're looking at your particular itinerary you're looking at cruising, on the right-hand side of the page, it will have a little symbol saying whether it's an APT voyage or a Royal Collection. But to be honest, on most of our most popular itineraries, which is your Amsterdam-Budapest or Budapest-Amsterdam, or the Douro River or the Seine River or the south of France, they are our Royal Collection, which is just the Australian and New Zealand market.
Okay. Very good, Jill. Well, thanks for speaking to us today. Can you just give us in summary, why should someone choose an APT or Travelmarvel river cruise?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think we've knocked a few of those on the head, but number one, we're 100% Australian family-owned, which is really lovely to know you're travelling with an Australian family-owned company. We do also pride ourselves on having one of the highest customer satisfaction ratings in the industry, and with Europe River Cruising, it's at 98%, meaning people that have cruised with us before have either ticked very good or excellent in every single component that makes up the trip with us, which really is testament to the fact that we do look after our clients and we do deliver on what we promise. And we're really striving for a 10 out of 10 customer experience. So we will do anything to ensure that our clients are coming off one of our river cruises just, saying that was an absolute trip of a lifetime. So any cruising with APT or Travelmarvel, that's our aim, is to make sure that we really wow our clients, we deliver on our promises and ensuring they're coming off saying, we couldn't fault it.
Fantastic. So thank you very much for speaking to us today. I'll give all our listeners the contact details for APT and Travelmarvel shortly so they can jump onto the website and order a brochure or give one of your lovely reservations staff a call. And once again, Jill, thank you so much for speaking to us today and enlightening us on APT and Travelmarvel.
Thank you very much. And the listeners can also see their preferred travel agent as well. So thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
You're most welcome. Thanks, Jill. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Wow, I don't know about you, but I'm certainly ready to book an APT river cruise. Sounds wonderful. Now, if you'd like to get a brochure or make an inquiry or reservation, I'll give you the details for APT and Travelmarvel. You can call APT on 1300 278 278 or visit their website at www.aptouring.com.au. For Travelmarvel, you can phone them on 1300 336 932 or jump on their website www.travelmarvel.com.au or see your preferred travel agent. Thanks for listening to the Holidays to Europe Travel Show. We'll be back next time with more European holiday inspiration.